What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. In today's video, we got some footage of a team in the Master League that brought this trainer to legend with Crown Form Zamazenta, newly added to the game in this year's Go Fest. This thing is a menace to the Master League, along with Zacian, now literally becoming the definition of power leap. It's even further than power creep. This team is going to also feature a white Kyurem in the back, as well as a Palkia origin, breaking out some of the strongest picks to be able to run to Legend. Now, this particular set of battles was after the trainer hit Legend, but we are going to still be able to see the destructive power of Zamazenta in the Master League. First game up, we got Landorus. Now, unfortunately, they're not running Ice Fang. That would be, I personally think that Zamazenta with Ice Fang might have more overall utility in the meta because the ground types will always come out to play when you have a steel type at the top of the meta. But we're going to see the Kyurem as a safe switch here with Ice Fang. Going to go for the guaranteed shield with the Freeze Shock. No debuff. Zamazenta is going to come back in and look to absorb energy. We have shield advantage, so it's hopefully a Palkia sweep sort of situation. However, because Zamazenta is running Metal Claw, it will never be able to farm down the Palkia. And so, because of this, they will have to, after lagging for a few... Oh my goodness, what is this? I came here to shoutcast Zamazenta, not to go battle lag. Come on now. Get it together, Scopely. Get it together, Scopely. Now, they do have to shield this. It could potentially be a Spatial Ren, not willing to take that chance. They're trying to get an energy lead on this Palkia, and the opponent's going to bring in their White Fang, their Ice Fang White Kyurem, and it's going to win CMP against this Palkia. Palkia, unfortunately, does not have the highest CP or highest attack aside from Landorus anymore. It is now outclassed by Kyurem and Zamazenta and Zacian, I believe. There's probably other things, too, that I'm not thinking of, but either way, Palkia is going to mow down the rest of this team at this point. Unfortunately, the opponent is not going... Well, I don't know. Actually, they might... Do they get to a second? Do they get to the move? Oh, this is... Actually, wait a minute now. Landorus, healthy enough to make something happen. Potentially, nope, never mind. Shields are gone. And this Aqua Tail is going to do enough to possibly knock out or come very close to it. Dragon Breaths, maybe. Yep. Just one more fast move, and that's going to take it down. Zamazenta clutching up with that Metal Claw. Now, imagine if we had Ice Fang, and Zamazenta just goes crazy into that last team. Speaking of going crazy into teams, the opponent's got a Kyurem Black in the lead, and they're going to safe switch into Rhyperior. Ice Fang Kyurem swiftly meets the Rhyperior, and they're going to shield up a charge move, could potentially be that Rock Wrecker. It's just a breaking swipe, though. Those pesky little Rhyperiors, they just love to bait, but now this is definitely a breaking swipe. Cazador knows it. He's going to look to go into this, you're going to look to get this farm down into, I don't know what, into anything. Into, I don't know. I don't know, man. We don't edit those. Oh, it's Dragon Tail Kyurem. Okay, makes sense. They don't have Shadow Claw, so they are going to be able to get a really hefty farm down. And the opponent not going to be able to get to this farm down. The charge move is reached. Damage registration error comes out in full force. This game showing all of its wonderful bugs and problems. And the opponent just simply gets RPS for a loss. Good game. Zamazenta on the lead in the next game against the Shadow Ho-Oh. You know what? We talked about getting rock, paper, scissors in the last game. And the opponent's got that Shadow Ho-Oh on the lead. That's feeling pretty bad. They're going to get a massive amount of damage with these Incinerates. They're going to go for a charge move, looking to get a shield here. Brave Bird is going to force the shield, and the opponent now can come in with their Dragon Tail Kyurem. This is a very smart play from the opponent because they are going to guarantee switch advantage, and they get that shield for free. They can simply farm down, but... We're reaching a Fusion Flare. Is this going to tilt? Is this going to turn the tides of the battle? No, unfortunately not. Zamazenta, though, is going to be looking to absorb this energy. Let's see how much damage Fusion Flare or Fusion Bolt will do here from this Kyurem. Free Shock. Never mind, they're going Free Shock, and that still does less than half, but it's resistant, so you would expect that much at least. Popping into Palkia immediately as the opponent looks to make their switch back in. If they have something in the back that beats Palkia, which they have, the Florges. And just as we dominated the last game with the matchups, the opponent does it right back to us, as is the standard practice of the Go Battle League. If this is a trailblaze, this is where you call a trailblaze. Nothing goes full send the Moonblast. Opponent really wanted the victory here. They're going to go for the Aqua Tail. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. They're going to be in the red. It's almost going to be enough, but can they catch on Zamazenta? That might be the winning formula here. No. Oh, the switch clock's not up yet. They're not able to switch out into Zamazenta to catch the charge move, and that was the only hope, unfortunately. Moonblast is going to pop out Palkia, and now we're going to be going for the Behemoth Bash. Resisted. Lots of damage, but the opponent still has a shield. Oh, well. Yeah, nothing we can do about that. That is just unfortunate. That is, if I was playing Zamazenta right now, this is the kind of games I would have. People are starting to counter them. They're out there, folks. Zamazenta gets to meet Rhyperior in the next game. Metal Claw does super effective here, but those Mud Slaps are going to add up much quicker. And we technically have two better answers in the back. Now, the opponent here is throwing, I believe, on 4 Mud Slaps. This can only be a Breaking Swipe. I would really recommend, if you're going to stay in that matchup, to try and, you know, schmooze that one. Build up to the Rock Wrecker or just bait out. Like, right? Like, if the opponent had swapped straight... and obviously, these are legend level players. They know what they're doing, right? But, like, just offering a, you know, critique, as if I may. The opponent had just gone straight to Palkia. They would have come out of this matchup with probably close to 3 Aqua Tails at the expense of a shield. Zamazenta goes away. And that's just basically... that's it. Going for the close combat. We could have gone for Behemoth Bash. It is similar energy. Let's see if the opponent shields it, and they do. Of course, they do. Shield advantage. Palkia comes into the field of play and is looking to either shield or... are they going to let it go? They're going to shield it. Shielding the Breaking Swipe here. Breaking Swipe is not even going to do close to being enough here, but you don't want to take the damage when you don't know what's in the back. Opponent could shield this Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is going to get the shield from the opponent. They are down 0 shields, but Palkia now is going to be forced to shield the next Breaking Swipe. What's in the back? Does it not like Palkia that much? No, that is a Kyurem, and Kyurem has unfortunately come in a little bit too late here, and this Spatial Rend is about to send it back to its Pokeball. Spatial Rend coming from the Palkia. That's not even enough. With the Breaking Swipes, it's not even enough. That's insane. I've already completely forgot about the reflection I was doing in the last game, but here we are with the Battle of the Crown Forms. Metal Claw, Zacian versus Zamazenta. The opponent strikes first with a potential close combat. I do believe Behemoth Blade is a couple more Metal Claws than close combat, whereas Behemoth Bash seems to have the same energy. So opponent now is going to come in with what looked to be a Palkia, and they're going to go for the close combat. Look to get a shield off the opponent, and in comes their own Palkia. Now, I don't know if you want to call this as an Aqua Tail. It's probably not wise to, but of course they're going to throw the Aqua Tail. But now if they get to another move... oh, it's a CMP tie! The worst kind! If they get to another move, it's definitely Aqua Tail. Unfortunately, now we're stuck in a CMP animation, but at least now the Palkia can guarantee switch advantage in this matchup by going for one more Dragon Breath. We'll see what the opponent brings back in here. They're going to bring in their Zacian. And, I don't know, man. This Zacian looks like it's going to be hard to handle with just a shield. Shield disadvantage here is not going to be kind. That farm down is going to be incredible for them, as Zamazenta can take some damage here, but unfortunately, I know that Crown Form Zacian packs a punch, and close combat is not even same type attack bonus. And he's almost going to get the farm down with the Kyurem. Oh, that's brutal. 1 HP, and they live. Close combat destroys poor Kyurem. And out comes Zamazenta. Unable to do anything here. Landorus is just going to hard counter this trainer into defeat. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Zamazenta on the lead against Palkia next game. And I really think that for anybody watching afterwards, right? First of all, never save switch a Landorus for this reason. Because Kyurem is still very much a thing, especially white Kyurem, and you will absolutely get Ice Fang down. Now, this energy is going to go crazy, as it always does from Kyurem. The opponent has the Palkia. They're coming in, but they're only going to be able to get to the Fusion Flare. Does the opponent respect it, or do they know that the Fusion Flare? Yep, it's just a Fusion Flare. They know it. Unfortunate, but Zamazenta comes back in now, and the opponent's Palkia is definitely within close combat range. However, what point are we going to throw, and what point are they going to throw? They're waiting for the close combat. They decide to not hold out any longer. They're going to go for that Aqua Tail, going for the double close combat, but you can let this one go. The opponent throws all of their energy here, or close to it, and this Zacian is almost at back-to-back close combats and didn't have to debuff itself before taking any damage, which is huge here. The opponent's going to shield it for close combat, and in comes Groudon. Groudon is met with its new nemesis. See, Groudon's been out of the meta for a minute, and it was mostly because Palkia and Landorus became top meta at some point. Now, unfortunately, Groudon... well, fortunately for Groudon, I should say. Unfortunately, it hasn't really been in the meta for a while, but now I think it might start to make a comeback with the Zamazentas and the Zacians that are going to be on just about every team at the conclusion of Go Fest Global this year. They will, every team. Opponent has their Palkia in the back, but they can simply go for the Aqua Tail to do some chip damage here or get the shield off the opponent. They decide it's over. They're going to go ahead and let that go. Dragon Breaths, taking them out. Good game. Zamazenta staring down a Kyurem. And this is exactly what they want to see. The opponent will be able to get to the Fusion Flare, but not before this Behemoth Bash is reached. Please let this go. I need this to hit. Boom! Oh, it's not enough, bro. You can't tell me that Behemoth Bash, literally the name Behemoth, and it doesn't one-shot. Kyurem, are you kidding me, man? Zamazenta, we gotta have a talk, man. That was just downright disappointment, okay? They asked me, and I think we know the answer now. Which one do I want if I could only pick one? The answer is Zacian. The answer is Zashian without a shred of doubt. But I think, like I said, I think Zamazenta is going to have a very unique niche to fill with the Ice Fang fast move that it has. If the opponent can't get there, the Ice Burn is reached, and this is going to mutilate this poor chicken. But they shield instead, knowing that they have to. The Palkia comes in now, and is going to look to just get to an Aqua Tail. Looks to go for the catch, but the opponent says not today. However, the opponent can never one-shot with any move here. Brave Bird is going to do a ton of damage, but they will need 2 charge moves to get this knockout because the Incinerates cannot farm down. They are double resisted, but doesn't matter. Kyurem's Palkia gets to the Aqua Tail and now leaves the Ho-Oh with almost no HP. Shielding this up, and they could just go for a couple of Dragon Breaths and take this game here. Well played. Zamazenta's coming back in against another Zacian Crown form. Let's see if we can turn the tides of this battle differently than the other one. Both of them just going for the Metal Claws. Behemoth Bash gets reached. Now, Behemoth Bash, if you ask me, I think that these moves should probably have like a stat. Like, if you told me that Behemoth Bash increased Zamazenta's defense, I think that would be incredibly sick, to be honest. And Behemoth Blade can raise Zacian's attack too. It's very expensive. And it makes sense. Opponent's defense gets dropped with that close combat, but they catch on a Palkia, and I am in shambles just watching that. That is a terrible, terrible amount of energy to have lost. Oh, man. Because you need it to deal with Zamazenta. It's necessary. Or, you need it to deal with Zashian. With Zamazenta, it's necessary. Opponent's going to come back in with their Zashian. They do have some energy here, but they also cannot farm down the Palkia. Palkia could get to a move here. Opponent over farming. I know that they had to have had at least a move, but they're over farming by a bit. Maybe lost track. I don't really do well at counting these moves either. I'm going to be honest. Dragon Breaths are kind of hard to count sometimes. Opponent looking to make a swap to snipe with the Kyurem, but Cazador brings in his own Kyurem with the quickness, and the only thing the opponent's going to catch is these hands. Kyurem is going to take this move. Fusion Flare is not going to be enough. Going to be able to go for his own Fusion Flare here on his Kyurem. And look to knock out the opposing Kyurem, as they do have an HP deficit just by a bit, though. Now Kyurem just going to give the Zacian some farm, but at this point, Palkia can come in and get to that Aqua Tail. The opponent CMP ties with the Palkia, and if this is a CMP tie, we simply shield and get this Aqua Tail through. The opponent going for that close combat, but unfortunately, they ran out of time. Aqua Tail is going to do enough damage to knock out the Zacian, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. Keep them coming, man. Keep them coming. One more. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, instant switch to Kyurem, as this is the less dominant matchup, and the opponent responds with Dialga. And this is now not looking good. Going for a Fusion Flare, it is neutral, but we are threatening the Ice Burn. Unfortunately, I don't think the opponent's going to allow them to get to another move here. They're going to Dragon Breath down before Kyurem can get to another charge move, but we are shields up, and Zamazenta Steel typing resists every move that Dialga Origin normally has. They don't normally run Thunder. You might see him run Thunder more often now, though, with Zamazenta and Zacian being as popular as they're going to be. But looking to get an overfarm here, and looks to get the close combat just in time. Now, the The opponent's going to go down. They are down a shield. Palkia needs to sweep this game to give us a chance at victory. The opponent's looking to go for that Brave Bird. They're going to dip out. This is a good shield because if you don't shield this leaves the Palkia very low, and we need to invest in Palkia. The opponent's bringing an Ice Fang Kyurem, and we're going straight for the Spatial Rend. Will this rend the Kyurem out of HP? Yes, it will. I love to see it. Opponent knows it's over by calling that bait. They did call nothing but a nuke, and that's a good game. All in all, man, about to whip out my Home Slice Henry vibes, man. No, just generally speaking, though, Zamazenta looks very strong, and again, I think the Ice Fang niche it fills will be very useful. Time will tell if it prefers Metal Claw or Ice Fang in the long run, but it is right alongside Crown Form Zacian as the new powerhouse Pokemon in the Master League, and you need to be aware that this is going to warp the meta, just like Kyurem did. A whole 500 CP jump from the next highest thing up. They're going to be meta warping like you wouldn't believe. So get your ground types, get your Groudons, get your Ho-Ohs, get your Landorus, your Rhyperiors, get them ready because you're going to need them. And that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Congratulations again to Cazador for reaching legend with this team. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.